Welcome to Saskatoon Roller Derby back to school here at Prairieland Park. I'm Death Nella.
I'm Fat Boy Schwartz.
And you're going to be watching the Saskatoon Mindfox take on
Pilebone Derby Club's Sugar Skulls.
And if you don't know what roller derby is all about, well, we've got something to show you. Here's a little Roller Derby 101. Roller derby is played by two teams on an oval track. Each game is broken into two halves, which are then broken into smaller sections called jams. Each jam lasts up to 2 minutes, and there's 30 seconds in between for players to switch off. Both teams field up to 5 skaters at the start of the jam. 4 of these skaters are called blockers, and 1 is the jammer. The jammer wears a helmet cover with a star on it and scores points for the team. The blockers, meanwhile, are playing both offense and defense, helping their jammer while stopping the other teams. Both teams' blockers make up what is called the pack. They must stay close to each other throughout the game. The 2 jammers start the jam behind the pack and must get through all the skaters for an initial pass before they can score points. When the initial pass is complete, the jammer can score 1 point for every opponent they pass with their hips. The first jammer out the pack legally is called lead jammer, which means they can end the jam anytime they want before the 2 minutes are up. Stay tuned for some great roller derby action. We'll be right back.
Announcing our PBDC Sugar Skulls. Number 6, Makilia. Number 27, Kami. Number 30, Anti-Authority. Number 34, Bad Brand. Number 44, Parks and Rec. Number 56, Mac Daddy. Number 65, Deja Vu. Number 72, Beat a Bitch Down. Number 87, Shannibal Lecter. Number 108, Nuts. Number 707, Piper. Number 711, Scarlet. Number 713, Alpha Ginger. And finally, number 999, Desi Deathwish. And for the coaches, we have Coach Vinsanity and Coach Ruby Rawbones.
And for our home team, the Mindfox, 010, Foreign Escape. 8, Bella Von Bastard. 28, Chesty LaRue. 69, Rocket. 85, Abolisher. 96, Tidbit Naughty. 138, Cutie Sly. 201, Stabitha. 202, Curb Stompin' Coleshaw. 247, Misbehavin'. 355, Block Nest Monster. 666, Mellraiser. 992, Unicorn Thunder. 1122, Jackie O'Nasty. We have our alternates, 20, the Sting.
I don't think she's there.
131, Reese.
They're both out on.
And coaching, we have Coach McQuack. On our bench, we have Rocket Richard, Blondie Lawless, and Madame Millie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SRDL's Back to School. Lining up now for our second game of the evening, we have Saskatoon's Mindfox gonna go up against Pile of Bone Derby Club out of Regina's Sugar Skulls.
It's going to be a great matchup. Right off the first line here, we have Curb Stomping Coleshaw for the Saskatoon Mindfox and Mac Daddy for Regina. Now these two, they've gone head-to-head many times before, including this season. And this is a big season for SRDL. It's the 10th anniversary. Big deal.
You bet it is, and they're playing hard. They're playing like it's their 10th anniversary. Starting right off the get-go, Curb Stomping Coleshaw is going to try and work on that outside lane, trying to get some help from Tidbit Naughty doing some offensive maneuvers.
But Mac Daddy squeaks by and gets lead jammer status.
Curb is right on her heels, though. Little jammer on jammer action coming into the corner there.
I love that from Curb. You'll see that quite often in this game. That's just her style.
She's a very aggressive player when it comes to that. There's no hold bars with her. Now with that, Mac Daddy called that jam off before either one of them got there, so that's going to keep it scoreless. Hit it, quit it. If you don't make any points, and neither does the other team, you're not going to lose.
And that's exactly the style of game these two teams will be playing. This is higher level derby. You are hoping for actually a lower total score. You want to keep that other team scoreless. You want to keep them down and keep those points close.
You betcha. Now lining up here, we've got for the Mindfox, Stabitha going to go up against Bad Brand for the Sugar Skulls.
Bad Brand doesn't always play for the Sugar Skulls, so she's a bit of a new addition. But she's got a storied history playing roller derby here in Saskatchewan.
Now she was able to take lead jam. Stabitha, a very quick skater. She has a lot of speed on those wheels. She was able to come not far behind her.
Oh,
now,
looks like Sugar Skulls put up the first point of the game. They managed to squeak by one blocker of that jam. And to recap, the way you score points in roller derby is passing an opposing player's hips. So if they block you effectively and you don't get by those hips, you're not getting those points.
You betcha. So now lining up here, we have 010 Fortiskate, who playing double duty today. She was an announcer for an earlier game today. Going to go up against, for the Sugar Skulls, 27 Kami.
Both of these players are veterans. Fortiskate, a 10-year veteran of SRDL. You're going to see that as she takes lead jam there. Kami is actually a member of Team Russia, and she's going to the World Cup.
No way. See, that's some cool information right there.
So we're seeing high-level roller derby played right here in Saskatchewan. Fortiskate hoping to push off of misbehaving to get through. She's working those edges on her skates. She picks up 3 points for her efforts and shuts out the Sugar Skulls. All right, and once again we see a matchup between Curb Stomping Coleshaw and Mac Daddy. Just the intensity on their faces there, but lots of smiles too. And hot off the line, Mac Daddy finding that inside edge. Oh, but taking a bit of a fall there. She is known for taking that inside line and running it all the way through for that lead jammer status. But Curb is on her tail again. These two are going to be a fun matchup to watch.
Yeah, that they will be. They tend to line up together a lot during their bouts. They both have such a similar play style of really just getting in your face and getting those hits. They don't shy away from it. And this is a good example because Mac Daddy able to get in there, pick up those 4 points, and Curb right on her heels. She's still able to get one before she calls that jam off.
Exactly, and every point counts. There's no other sport like roller derby when it comes to that.
No, that is exceptionally true. So now here we go. We got Bad Brand lining up against Stabitha again.
What's also fun about seeing higher level roller derby is that you're going to start seeing those matchups again and again and see how they play as the game progresses and there's fatigue that sets in. Stabitha really good on those edges as she's trying to weave through that Sugar Skulls line.
Piper, that's the second time now that has knocked Stabitha down. That did allow for Bad Brand to come out in front and take the lead while Stabitha was getting knocked around there. But again, showing how fast she is. Not that far behind Bad Brand. She's whipping around them corners.
And you want to do exactly what happened there, which is force the other jammer to call off the jam. And guess what? The Sugar Skulls have one in the penalty box, their pivot. Now the pivot is a very interesting player. She's the one with the stripe helmet cover. And what she can do is she can actually take the jammer status from the jammer. She's the only other player they can actually transfer that star helmet cover legally. They'd have to be in play. So she's a very interesting and important blocker on the track.
So lining up here again, Skate and Kami going to go back for another dance. Now Skate's using some muscle there along with that speed. She's trying to get some fancy footwork.
She's going to try to whip off of Ness, and it works.
Got around Anti-Authority there, as well as number 6, that's McKillia. Now Kami's trying to work through there, but she's right on the back of Bella Von Bastard there. Mel Razor's up there as well.
Kami gets through there as the pack split a little too far, and there was an out of play.
So Piper now the pivot, she's back on the track, released from her penalty. Now Fortin's trying to get past, takes a hit from Anti-Authority as she's going out of bounds. She starts calling that off though, so she's able to pick up 3 more points, and that holds Kami scoreless on that one.
What's incredible to watch with these players is just their track awareness. That is what all the rookies and the Bs and everybody who's coming up the ranks, that's what we're trying to work on, is making sure we know where everybody is, because when you're watching the game like you're seeing right now on Shaw TV, it's kind of easy to see where everyone is, but when you're in the thick of it, oh boy, you kind of forget who's behind you and who's in front.
I wouldn't even imagine. So here we go again. I do believe that is Curve stopping Coleshaw.
Looks like Unicorn Thunder's trying to provide some offense for her jammer, but it's quite difficult. You have to make sure that you are going in the appropriate derby direction, which is counterclockwise. You can't do any hits going the other way.
Mishbehavin had an excellent little toss with her backside there, knocking Mac Daddy out and dragged her back. So that means Curb Stomp and Coleshaw is going one-on-one with the Sugar Skulls nuts. She was able to get past her, so she'll pick up that lead jammer.
And now she's got that half-track advantage. That's all you really need, is to try to hit it past the pack and then call it off, which is exactly what she did. Picked up her 4 points.
Took a nice little tumble there on that outside edge as she was taking the call.
Now, I'd like to just talk a little bit about Curb Stomping Coleshaw, because she's somebody who came up the ranks. She did juniors, then she progressed into the seniors skating for the SRDL, and now she coaches juniors as well, and she's a big recruiter. She's the reason why I'm in roller derby, so.
She's the reason I'm sitting here as a broadcaster today announcing. That woman has an amazing skill set of introducing people to an absolutely incredible sport in any facet of it. And to talk about how incredible the sport is, Bad Brand jamming for the Sugar Skulls take that lead with very little effort, as Stabitha's forced now to try and catch up to her.
The pack is speeding up quite a bit. Now, there are advantages to having a fast pack, because that forces the jammer to have to go even further as they try to do their laps. The disadvantage to a fast pack, though, is you lose a little bit of control, and you can make it even easier for the opposing jammer to get through.
Yeah, when everybody's moving that fast, you're not going to have that form of control that you're looking for as far as ensuring that you're in the right place at the right time.
Now, Fat Boy, you were announcing for the Bees game. Look at the difference in the scores right now. We're seeing Mindfox just crack the double digits at 11, Sugar Skulls at 6. That shows you their skill level. They're trying to make sure that the other team just doesn't score.
And again, you've got Piper there along with Scarlett really beating down on Forniskate. Nuts is there, but Forniskate takes a big one from Beat Up Bitch down. Now Kami's working through there. She's got Mish, Unicorn, Thunder, Abolisher.
But Bali doesn't see Kami coming behind her. She's too focused on those other blockers, trying to do some offense for her jammer. And that's the struggle. That is what SRDL has been working on all year in this 10th anniversary season, is that back and forth defense-offense switch.
So now in the midst of it, we did have a penalty issued. Misbehave and pivot right now for the Mindfox is going to be sitting down for a little while. Now that one is called off. We do have a 1 point scored for the Sugar Skulls.
And for those who don't understand the penalty box system, blockers will sit for 30 seconds in the penalty box. They'll stand actually at the 20-second mark and then be told to go in at 30 seconds. For jammers, that 30 seconds can vary depending on when it or if the other jammer is into the penalty box.
You betcha. So here we go again with this one. Mac Daddy, Curb Stomp, and Coleshaw going to go at it again. Mac Daddy in there fast and hard. She's knocked down.
And a multiplayer block is called on McKillia for the Sugar Skulls.
That allows Curb Stomp and Coleshaw to jump out in front and take that lead. And again, about a quarter of a track, but Mac Daddy is not going to take it slow. She's going to get right on her heels and try and force her to call it before she racks too many up. But showing that speed that Curb has, she gets in there, she gets through, picks 4 up, and as soon as she hits that last set of hips, that's it. Her hands are on her hips, and that's the jam.
Now, Mac Daddy also is a very, very strong player for the Sugar Skulls. She is Coach Vinsanity's daughter, and she's a junior. Wouldn't you know?
Nope. I wouldn't
junior
know.
playing with the seniors, and we do see that. We have some incredible juniors in Saskatoon as well who are playing high-level roller derby. I love it. I learn from them, and they have endless energy. Makes me feel old. Oh, well, actually, speaking of that, look at that energy from Stabitha, just dancing on those toe stops for lead jammer status, and that's where the speed comes in. Brad Brand still getting caught up by Tidbit Naughty, misbehaving.
I've always really enjoyed watching Stabitha's play because of the fact that she can get on those toe stops and she can dance and she can move and she can get such speed and such control. It's phenomenal to watch the way she can maneuver around that line and not go out.
And now she just passed Bad Brand too. Picks up 4 points for her efforts. Bad Brand also picks up 4. They are jammer on jammer, neck and neck here.
So you can see the packs got a little bit of speed going here as the whistles go.
And if you're wondering why jammers will call the jam at a certain point, well, they actually want to see the other jammer go hard just before she reaches that pack and then take it away from her. It's a bit of a mental game thing, and also you're extending the length of the jam, especially for the Mindfox who are in the lead right now.
Well, especially too, if you can wear that other jammer down that little bit, even if you can slow up a bit because you know that you're going to do it, you give yourself a chance to catch your breath, slow down, and you're wearing out that other jammer just that extra little bit. And in a contact sport like this, I tell you, every second counts.
Ness trying to provide some offense for Forniskate, but getting a little caught up there.
Now that's Kami jamming for the Sugar Skull. She was able to get through, so she got an initial pass done.
Meanwhile,
now she's coming through. Block Ness Monster is able to take her to the outside, going to drag her all the way back.
Block Ness gets hit out. Now, if a blocker that has hit you out also goes out, you can step right in front of them and get back on the track.
If they don't, however, you're at the mercy of them as far as they want to take you back until they get that no pack call. Now Forniskate up at the front there. She's fighting with the purple team. Couple big hits exchanged there. She gets through with an initial. So able to pick up 5 points. Grand slam Kami did on that one, and that held Forniskate scoreless.
The other thing that's great about these jams is you're going to see so many different styles. You're going to see the hard hits, the pushing through the packs, but you cannot do that every jam, of course, because you're going to gas yourself out. So this is where all the jammer training comes into play. The juking, the finding the inside line, the trickster aspect of it. And I find Curb is really strong at that, and those Sugar Skulls jammers are also really great at tricking the other team. Look at Mac Daddy. She just...
Unbelievable to watch these people. It's just so talented. However, Beta Bitchtown has been given a penalty, so she's going to go sit down. Now we have a good little race here between Curb and Mac Daddy, and you see it again. Mac Daddy trying to get in there. She was trying to get a point, but she called it off soon enough. Nobody gets any points. And again, if you don't score and they don't score, you're not going to get anywhere. It's going to make it a lot harder to try and get a lead when you're not given the opportunity to get a point.
And we're seeing those quick jams, and this is what high-level roller derby is all about. It's not about extending it to 2 minutes, just trying to get more points. No, it's about strategy. Although I really would love to see a 2-minute jam at some point in this half. It's just fun.
You betcha. So now we got Bad Brand going up against Stabitha. Stabitha takes a big hit there from number 65, Teja Vu. She's forced to the back. Now Bad Brand is stuck up against that wall. Bellevon Bastard, Rocket, and Mel Razor in there, but Stabitha is able to sneak through past McKillia and Authority there, and she's able to take the lead jam.
Bad Brand getting brought back by Block Ness Monster. The Mindfox line trying to find each other, but a little bit tricky there.
Stabitha was going for a jump there by the apex, and she did get caught mid-jump. She took a pretty good fall to the ground on that one.
Now that apex jump, as long as they land in bounds, they're good and they collect those points. That's why they risk it. That's why they make that jump.
And in any other sport, remember, the higher you go, the harder you fall. It ain't going to be good. See, I think we might have a good one here. So there she goes. And she hits the backside of it. Down she goes, not able to land not able to land inbound, so she is forced to come back before she can make those points. It's a risky maneuver, but if you can make it, it's way to your advantage.
Superb work by the blocker there too, making sure that her butt was over that line, so there was no way Stabitha was going to make it back.
So now we have Forniskate going up against Kami again.
Yep, misbehaving, trying to trip up that Sugar Skulls line, but Scarlett is in there, fierce, Piper as well. Forniskate finds that inside line.
Misbehaving and Tidbit Naughty there were kind of teaming up on Nuts, trying to allow Forniskate a chance to slip through on the inside line.
Those corners really are advantageous for jammers because that's the weak point for the pack. That's why you'll see sometimes the players want to scooch up a little bit, make it a little easier for their jammer to get through on that corner.
And with that one, Kami was able to pick up 1 point when she called that off. And this, you know, we can't say it enough with these low scores like this. This is where 1 point, 2 points at a time is going to make the difference. Slowly, the Sugar Skulls are crawling up, and the Mindfox aren't moving very fast with the score anymore. They're being held into a position. So here we go. Curb stopping Coleshaw is going to go up against Mac Daddy on this one again. Ooh, Curb with a big hit down.
Definitely a multiplayer penalty called on Rocket. I saw that one happening. So unfortunately, if you hold on too tightly and you form an impenetrable link, well, then you get sent to the box for multiplayer. Also looks like a power jam for the Mindfox. And Curb calls it, but she stays on the ground. Coach McQuack going over to check on his skater. And we're gonna relive some of those big hits in that last jam. Big block, I believe that's Anti-Authority knocking Curb out.
Anti-Authority there, looks like she got a nice little push there by Teja Vu, giving her a little bit of extra momentum as she come across the track.
A completely legal hit, just a very hard one as well.
You betcha. And remember, if you can't tell looking on the TV, that is a concrete floor. That is not turf. That is not padding. That is solid concrete. It ain't gonna feel good when you hit that walk, and try doing it on skates. So this does mean now that Stabitha is going to have this chance now to start as a power jam. That means she has no opposing jammer. It also means that Mac Daddy is going to be forced back onto the track for another jam.
Yes, that is an advantage to having that power jam right off the start.
And there you go. You can see Stabitha using that fancy footwork and those toe stops. Look at that spin.
That was
Look
a
at that
pirouette. I
spin.
loved it. I mean, I'm keeping my composure,
Composure or not, I tell you, you got to get excited when you see maneuvers like that. That was fantastic.
And now we have the SRDL pivot back on the track, although misbehaving's basically swapping seats there.
While that confusion was going on, Stabitha was able to get past that Sugar Skulls pack there. She was able to pick up 5 points.
Now, of course, Mac Daddy will still need to do her initial pass, so she won't be scoring anything this one. Oh, big apex jump, but slides down, so that will slow her down a little bit.
Piper with a nice hit on Stabitha sent her sliding on that second corner there, so she's forced to drag back. That gives Mac Daddy that chance to get ahead and complete an initial.
We have a failure to reform penalty assessed to the Sugar Skulls. Now, failure to reform means that she just didn't get into that pack fast enough. You need to have a pack to play derby. Stabitha calls it off.
And again, that was the second time Piper knocking Stabitha out. Those two have gone together a fair bit tonight already, that blocker jammer kind of setup there. You see that often, especially with a faster player that tends to be to the front of the pack or somebody that's more physical to the back of the pack. You'll see they often end up fighting with one blocker or two blockers over and over again.
And let's talk about that blocking line for the Sugar Skulls right now. We have Teja Vu, Anti-Authority, Michaelia, and that is a formidable line. So we're seeing just some great work from both of those lines.
You betcha, and you got Bellevon Bastard for the Saskatoon Roller Derby Leagues, Mindfox, along with Block Ness Monster.
And Rocket. And a couple of these players, actually, both on the Regina side and Saskatoon, had just played in the Bees game. So that just shows you the type of stamina that's out there. One of the biggest misconceptions about roller derby when I tell people, oh, a jam can last a maximum of 2 minutes is, well, that's not that long. All right. Okay.
Do that for 2 halves and then tell me how you
Imagine pushing a wall for, you know, a good 30 seconds of that 2 minutes. Sometimes it's easy though, sometimes.
I came out to the Saskatoon Roller Derby League's fresh meat intake this year and tried my hand on skates, and I did about 10 laps, and that was it. I was done. I didn't have any contact. I didn't have to do anything but skate. That was it. I was done.
We're very proud that you did that though, Fat Boy. That means so much. You understand what it's like.
Oh, you betcha, and that's why I sit behind the table instead of on the track.
And we have the mix-up of, or not mix-up, yeah, this is a bit of a change. We're seeing Bad Brand now going against Forniskate. Ooh, and Bad Brand definitely takes that mix-up to her advantage.
I don't think anybody even caught her on that one. She was through that inside very quickly. Oh, but we do have a cut track now issued to Forniskate. So that's going to give Bad Brand the power jam. This is a really good opportunity for Bad Brand to try and mark up some points here and catch up on this lead, or correction, on the scores.
Yeah, and this is where that defense is going to be very important. She manages to skirt by on the outside lane.
You had Block Nest Monster and Rocket there had a little bit of a collision, so that piled it up there.
Now you notice how the Regina players were lined up to the sides of the track. That is a perfect formation for an offensive power play. Power play, really.
Now you might be wondering why she would call that jam off while still having the jammer for the opposing team in the penalty box. And the reason for that is because this gives them a very good opportunity to have a power start. And this power start allows them to start back on the track with one jammer. The Mindfox are still down a jammer. That means it's very quick, very easy if they can do it right to try and get that lead jammer without that extra person going up against it.
And the way Regina is set up right now, they're going to try to make human pylons out of those blockers, because it's easy to weave through pylons, a lot harder when it's a tripod. And guess what? Forniskate gets out of the penalty box and grabs lead jammer. And that's why I love roller derby, because things can change in a second.
There is no scripted action here. You never know what's going to happen. Woo.
Big hit, Unicorn Thunder against a player, and she gets, I don't see a penalty assessed to her.
That was Scarlett that was in the middle of that. She's the one that went down there. That was a pretty good collision. So the Mindfox able to pick up.
Just waiting here on the score there. Now, of course, blockers can hit other blockers. They are legally allowed to, because you're allowed to do what you can in the pack in the engagement zone. Has to be a legal hit, of course. Mac Daddy and Cutie Slides, our first time seeing her jam for the Saskatoon Mindfox. But she's no rookie. She's been a player for many years. Took a break last year, she had a baby. And she manages to pick up lead jammer status for the Mindfox. That always feels good when it's your first time out jamming for the game. Cutie trying to do an apex jump, but getting knocked out, dragged back, calls it off though, so Mac Daddy does not pick up any points for the Sugar Skulls. I have a song in my head right now. Return of the Mac. That's right, I just sang. And for those who could not see Fat Boy's face, it was just
I tell you, I'm working with the karaoke pro here tonight.
You know, roller derby is about having fun, okay? Don't take everything too seriously.
Fun we have. So on this one now, gonna have some fun. Who do we got? Going for Mindfox, that's Stabitha.
That was actually quite beautiful, because we had Stabitha trying for the inside, Bad Brand trying for the out, and then this beautiful little switch. And of course, Bad Brand in good company with her own blockers on the inside line.
So we do have an empty penalty box now, so both teams back up to full strength as Rocket rejoins the Mindfox.
That's going to be the key to winning this game, is keeping your blockers and your jammer out of the penalty box. Because when both these teams have their full force out there, it's really hard to get by those walls. All right, we have Kami lined up for the Sugar Skulls against Foreign Escape for the Mindfox.
And we do have a forearm penalty being assessed. That
Kami.
is the jammer for
Wow.
Kami. That means Foreign Escape now is going to have the chance for a power jam.
And that's definitely a low block assessed to Rocket. Oh, rather a forearm, but it was assessed to Rocket from the Saskatoon Mindfox.
So here we go. You can see now the Mindfox are going to try and set up some offensive maneuvers here. Let Foreign Escape catch up there, and then they're going to try and plow through and open her a lane. And you can see it there as Bella Von Bastard at the front. Make sure that she's got that lane. She's able to pick up 5 points on that one.
Remember what we were saying about those human pylons earlier? If you can get those blockers busted up into single players, it's really easy for a skater like Forna to just weave through. She is a master at her edge work. She's been skating for 10 years.
Now, Kami came in there and gave a nice little hit there to, I believe it was Block Nest Monster, so she was able to get through and pick up her initial. However, Foreign Escape gets through, picks up 4 more points, puts her hands on her hips. That makes the referees blow their whistle. She calls that jam down.
And so now we're seeing a wider gap. Mindfox at 48, the Sugar Skulls at 28. I don't know if you saw this, Fat Boy, but Foreigner right on turn 2 here actually whipped off of Bella, which was just wonderful. She used her shirt and just pulled her. That is completely legal, obviously, if it's your own team member. Don't try that on the opposing team. They don't like that.
Yeah, that might not fly so well. So here we go, back on the track now. Curb Stompin' Coleshaw is going to take this one.
Unicorn, trying to create some space for Curb, but instead makes a hole for Mac Daddy, but Curb is on it once again.
And you can just see the speed there as Mac's trying to get ahead, and Curb is not allowing her to really get any distance on her. Now Curb is into that pile, and she's through there like unbelievable. She shot through there.
Oh, and they are so happy because Curb picked up her 4 points, and then they called it. So that just,
That was, here we go. I think
here's the replay.
You can see her coming from the outside. She goes into the inside,
she
nice and
skirts
low.
by all those players.
And she's through, and nobody even gets her. They didn't know she was... That just goes to show you her awareness, as you were saying, about knowing where everybody is and ensuring that she is in the right spot at the right time and making it through with ease.
And you never, ever give up as a jammer. You don't ever give up until the end of that 4th whistle from the referees, because you can still collect points.
Now, it looks like we have an official review being called. Is it an official review? I think it is an officials
Well,
official review.
Let's talk about the officials that you see out there. We have some of the best in North America, hands down. We see Kurt so good over there. He's the one in the glasses and got a little bit of a scrawl on his face and the beard. Well, he actually last refereed all the way in Sweden for the Women's Flat Track Roller Derby Association playoffs, Division 1. That's the best in the world. How cool is it that he's here in Saskatoon and we have that high level of officiating right here?
You betcha. And to round out the rest of his officiating crew today, we've got some very skilled ladies and gentlemen. We've got Road Rash, who's our inside pack rep. He's helping Kurz on the inside, making sure that the penalties are being called, the players are following the rules. Then you have our jam refs on this one, Hang 11 and Lady. They're the ones that are watching the jammers. They're the ones putting their fingers up to tell the scorekeepers what the score is, who's got what. And then you've got the outside pack reps. That's Gnarly Quinn, Arc, Flash, and Cowboy. And they're the ones on the outside of the track that are making sure that all the rules again are being followed. They're the extra set of eyes to make sure that nothing goes unnoticed.
And it's so great to see Gnarly Quinn. She's one of the outside pack reps. It's so great to see her on skates again. She had quite an injury, a surgery earlier this year, so the fact that she's back on skates, and when you're out there as an official, you're skating just as hard. You're not always necessarily coming up against a wall, but you're nonstop. Once again, Bad Brand gets out quick. She's proving that that is her strong suit today.
She's been really good today at that little bit of a hop over that pack and just making sure she's on the outside of the inside edge and getting a good track line. And that right there is the perfect example. She's got that track line down before she gets there.
Exactly, and she's so fast that the Mindfox blockers weren't even prepared for her. Because on average, you're looking at a jammer taking about 10 seconds. Now, obviously, the higher level jammers like Stabitha and Bad Brand will be even quicker, but about 10 seconds for them to get around and engage the pack once again.
And to show you just how much speed now, the pack picking up speed, trying to slow it down. But Bad Brand there, and this goes to tell you how good the Sugar Skulls are doing at blocking today. Bad Brand was able to get a grand slam on Stabitha, which means not only did she pass the 4 blockers to pick up her 4 points, she also passed Stabitha, the other jammer. So that means that she's able to pick up that 5th point. That is phenomenal when you can do that and the jammer's on the track.
Exactly. I was just going to say it's easy enough when the jammer's in the penalty box, but it is a wonderful feat to do that when everybody's out there on the track. Corner just trying to get by, breaking through that length there from Scarlett and Piper, and she's out on her initial pass. Now, she didn't pick up lead jammer because she didn't legally pass every blocker properly. So she got a no pass, no penalty. So technically, oh, no, never mind. I was going to say technically Kami could take lead jammer, but this will be a 2-minute jam.
You betcha. Kami is now going to sit down in the penalty box over there. That does give Forniskate 30 seconds here to try and rack up as many points as she can. Ooh, but a collision there in that 3rd corner.
And there's a forearm penalty assessed to Bali.
She shrugs her shoulders on the way to the penalty box there. She might not agree with that one. Now Forniskate's able to get past, so she's able to rack up 4 points on that one.
Now, she didn't pick up 5, which she would, because she would have lapped Kami, but she once again got a no pass, no penalty. It means she didn't legally pass every single blocker to get those points.
Now she's working hard to get a legal 5 points this time. Tidbit Naughty coming in there to give her a hand.
And so when you see a 2-minute jam like this, it's all on the jammers just to try to rack up those points because nothing's going to stop this jam except time. And this is where you see all that cardio work, all that stamina from those jammers out there.
Well, you can see it. We're getting down. We got 2 minutes, 5 seconds left in this first half. That's a taxing game as Forniskate there does a little bit of a jump and a hop. And every time you leave your feet, every time you got to do that, that's that extra little bit you got to give into it to ensure that you're going to get there. That takes a lot out of you when you're doing it for 30 minutes.
Yes, kudos to those blockers out there because we always give a lot of spotlight and a lot of attention to the jammers, but they've got to try to keep those jammers back the entire time. And while there's a quick break here, I do want to call attention to Jackie O'Nasty on the Saskatoon Mindfox team. This is her last game with the league.
Oh, is it?
It is, and she's been an incredible skater. She's been here for many years. She's such a fantastic mentor to all of us rookies. I say us rookies because I'm definitely a rookie still. And it's going to be very sad to see her go. I also want to call attention to all the non-skating officials. They are just as important as everybody else because we need them. So they're in the center of the track. Can't see them on the screen right now. They're the ones wearing black and holding clipboards and looking all official. Well, they do a number of roles here. They keep track of penalties, they jam time, they score keep. All of the very important jobs that make roller derby possible here in Saskatoon. Yeah, there they are, our scorekeepers. We have some in-stand announcers. All hard at work. Coach McQuack talking to Curb. Coach McQuack is a skater, by the way.
I'm getting pissed off with him trying to talk to our skaters.
And we can hear him.
Verbally, I wouldn't say there's nothing technically wrong with what he's saying. He's all he was yelling at Jax for leaving the ball.
Now, one thing about McQuack, I should let everybody at home know, is that he is a referee as well. So he knows the rule book very well. And there's a huge advantage, of course, having a coach who is also refereed in every different type of position, whether you're a jam ref or an outside pack ref, because you understand the game and all the little rules.
Well, and not only that, but we'll say with Coach Vinsanity here and Coach Ruby Rawbones as well, they have such an intricate knowledge of the game that they're always 2 steps ahead of their players. I even said this with the Bees game earlier with the Saskatoon Roller Derby Killa Bees and the Palabone Derby Club's Gravediggers, is that they're always 2 steps ahead of their team and ensuring that everybody is where they have to be at the right time, making the right moves. That is not an easy thing to do when you're trying to manage 5 people on skates, on a track, going around with announcers and music and crowd. That takes some skill.
And look at that crowd. You know, we've got a big turnout here at Prairie Land Park. It means the world to have all these people here making roller derby possible. And it looks like Curves is having his talking to the captains and the coaches.
Because I believe there was some very strong language used earlier. Yeah.
Watch your language.
Guys,
If anybody's swearing at the refs, don't swear at the refs. You got a reverse warning.
That is
when you
very
went to the box,
important.
you moved the chairs. You didn't hit anybody, so you're not out. You just have a second penalty. You're
And
okay.
because of this is my 3rd penalty.
And we need to watch our abuse of language towards the ref, but we all know it's coming.
Coach McQuack there letting all his team know what he's been told in that. So obviously there's some offensive language happening towards the referees they're not very impressed with, so they're going to make sure that gets sorted out. It sounds like a Abolisher going into the box had moved some chairs. Now, you cannot disrupt that area. You cannot hit an NSO. You cannot hit a referee. That is a gross misconduct. They will remove you from the game for that.
I know that all too well. Thank you, Fat Boy.
So now we got Curtis Stompin Colshaw going up against, I believe that is Mac Daddy. Now I did see a cut track signal thrown, so that's going up against Mac Daddy.
So Curb is on a mission to get around, but the Sugar Skulls are trying to. And she gets by, but we do have a penalty assessed to Rocket. Couldn't see what kind of penalty there.
Now Abolisher is back on the track now.
So it's 3-on-3 with the power jam, and Curb gets by, picks up her points already. Just getting hung up on Anti-Authority there.
Now Anti-Authority played in the last game as well. She was jamming and blocking, so she has used a lot of energy already, and yet in this game you wouldn't know. She's on point, making sure that nobody gets past her without knowing that she is there.
Mac Daddy loves that inside line, and so Ness and Bella and Volley are just, although she used the outside there. Oh, that's definitely a penalty assessed.
Yeah, Bolly is going to get a back block, I think, on that one as she ran right into the rear end of McKillia there.
Now, Bolly's been in the box a number of times. She's not the only one this period at all, but the thing about that is you only have 7 times. On the 7th, you're out, and you're fouled out of the game. All right, we're going to see the penalty assessed once again.
So there's Bolly coming in quite quick, but she's going right at the back. You cannot hit that center mass on the back like that. You have to make sure that you're hitting within the legal areas of that player.
Just think about how dangerous that is, right? If we were legally allowed to just push somebody down, plus roller derby wouldn't be all that fun either, because then you just continually knock people down.
We enjoy seeing the big hits, but they have to be clean. That not only brings excitement and an enthusiasm to the game when you can do that hip check and knock somebody down and it's clean and it's legal, that's exciting to watch. But when it's reckless and dangerous, it takes away from that excitement from the game because you start to get concerned. You're watching it now with a fear of what's going to happen to that player versus that excitement of that big hit.
And everybody I came up in Fresh Meat this year, when I asked them, you know, what do people say when you tell them you're doing roller derby? They go, that is such a dangerous sport, that is so scary. Well, it's not when you learn how to play safely and properly. And that's what we do, that's why we practice 2-3 times a week. Oh, and look at this. We've got some young fans, part of the junior league, trying to get everybody pumped up, doing the wave. Yes! Love that enthusiasm and energy. And the gameplay is going to start very soon.
So lined up here, we got Tidbit Naughty misbehaving. And I can't see who's on that other side there.
That's Unicorn Thunder.
Unicorn Thunder, they're gonna be blocking for the Mindfox. Beta Bitch Down's lined up there at the front of that tripod for the Sugar Skulls. She's gonna get some help.
Ooh, but she gets knocked back. Bad Brand trying to
just find that. Oh, and she's going to get by Tidbit Naughty.
Mishbehaven's going to foot race her, try and beat her down there, but she's able to get out in front, so she'll take lead as Stabitha's working on that inside line. Now she's stuck right up against Nuts there, who's not going to let her get through with ease. She's knocked down to the ground, so she's forced to try and reset herself. As Badbrand's back in that pack now.
But Tidbit Naughty is the queen of dragging back the jammer. And that's exactly what she did there with Badbrand.
So while all that was happening, that allowed Stabitha to get an initial pass through.
And that's the jam.
So now able to pick up 5 points on that pass, Badbrand does. And that will bring us into halftime. So with that, our score now, Mindfox 88, Sugar Skulls 53 as we head into halftime here at Saskatoon's Roller Derby League's Back to School.
All right, welcome back to SRDL's Back to School at Prairie Land Park. I'm Death Nella.
I'm Fatboy Schwartz sitting here as well. We're gonna go through some highlights here before we get into our second half of this game.
Just incredible work by Badbrand off of the line there. And here we see Forniskate just weaving through, getting by. And on that same corner, Curb stomping Coleshaw using her 1-foot transitions.
And right there, we've been watching that all game, how Badbrand is able to just jump it. Right there off the start, she gets through. And then this right here is such a good view of how blocking has been pivotal this game for keeping the score so low.
Forniskate gets by. She knows where those holes are, and she goes right there.
And that was a really nice one to watch, because that was when Curb was able to get through on the inside, racked up the 4 points before the Sugar Skulls called that one off.
What a great first half. I'm so excited to see how this game plays out. Right now, the Mindfox are at 88 points, Sugar Skulls at 53. And anything can happen in these next 30 minutes.
You betcha. And you know what? That is such a low score compared to a lot of the different games we've seen.
Yep.
And that's showing you how close it is, how skilled they are, and how evenly matched they are. It's not getting blown out. Nobody is 100 points up, 90 points up. That is fantastic. It's a 35-point difference only at this point.
The key to this game is going to be keeping those players out of the penalty box, because we did see quite a few in the first half.
You betcha. So now on this one, we're going to have Curb Stompin' Coleshaw is going to go up against Mac Daddy. Mac Daddy, this is going to be her 10th jam. She's had lead on 2 of her jams. Curb Stompin' Coleshaw, she's done 8 jams. She's been able to take the lead on 4 of them.
She doesn't get it this time around, but she is able to skirt by that blocker who knocked her out, Beta, because Beta went down. Curb hot on Mac Daddy's tail, although there is about a half-track advantage there, and Mac Daddy gets through, picks up her first 4 points. It is so, this first few jams of the second half really determines the mood. Doesn't mean that you can't obviously change things throughout the next 30 minutes, but it can really set the mood. Derby is such a mental game, especially in the second half.
You betcha. And looking at the stats again here, the Sugar Skulls were able to take 12 lead jammers on the last half, while the Mindfox had 9. Now, there were 4 power jam opportunities for the Mindfox, 1 for the Sugar Skulls. The Mindfox able to pick up 19 points off of that, and the Sugar Skulls able to pick up 9 points.
Mishbehaving, trying to make a hole for Stabitha, but Stabitha just does it on her own, picks up lead jammer status there. Tidbit trying to hold up Badbrand.
Teja Vu has been issued a penalty. She's going to have to go take a seat for 30 seconds, cool down a little bit, as Badbrand makes her way back around the track. Getting to the...
And Mindfox picks up 4 points for their efforts. That always feels good when you see those fingers up in the air. Now, one thing for viewers at home, the jammer referees do switch at the half so that it's fair, of course.
And you can tell which jammer ref is watching which. When they put their hands up, you'll notice on their hand, whichever one they use to score with, they'll have a piece of cloth, material, something on their wrist, the same color as the jersey of the team they're scoring. That way, for you at home, if you want to watch and keep track of the score as we do, look for that color. That'll tell you.
Well, a no-pack situation gets Kami out first, but Forniskate's right on her tail. there's so much communication in roller derby. That's a good, effective team. You can talk, you let each other know what's happening. You are allowed to have even a bench staff sitting on corner 3, so that's just one of the corners of the track, to help communicate better so that you know, are you supposed to be calling off the play? Who's hot on your tail? Are you able to keep going?
And we saw it there where Kami calls that off just as Forneskate overtakes her. No points, nobody gets farther ahead. It is a pivotal part of these high-skill games because it's what keeps the score so low. You're not trying to rack up points. You're not risking letting the other team get any. If you keep them where they are, they're not going to get that lead on you.
And MacDaddy gets by Abolisher and Tidbit Naughty.
Curb Stomp and Coleshaw was fighting around in the back. She's able to get through.
Misbehaving now able to join up with that twosome, knocking MacDaddy out.
Misbehaving, making sure she was in the right spot on that apex jump, not allowing her to get through there. That was an excellent timed hit, and that was the same we saw in the first one, that apex jump, just making sure that you had your butt in the right spot at the right time.
And that's how you're going to know who's playing at a higher level and who isn't, because one of the things, as I mentioned before, is that track awareness. Knowing how to get all the way to your lines makes a huge difference.
So here we go. Stabitha is going to dance with Badbrand here again. Now Stabitha, sometimes she likes to start a little farther off that jam line, try and get a couple extra steps momentum, couple extra steps speed. It also allows her, you'll notice from time to time, to deke out on those blockers a little bit.
Just got to watch the edges there. She manages to get through.
Scarlett came in there and knocked her almost over. Now Bella Von Bastard up at the front there going up against Badbrand.
But Badbrand still sneaks by and gets lead. But did you see now, they kept that jammer from getting lead all the way to the third corner of the track. That is huge in roller derby. You are delaying any possibility of her scoring points.
That was a solid 20 seconds there where she was not able to get out and take that lead advantage. That's huge, especially when we've seen that these girls today are able to get through and make that lead jammer in 2, 3, 5 seconds. 2, 3, if it takes 5 steps, they're through in 5 seconds. They got lead jam. It's impressive.
So this is all part of the strategy. If you can hold off that jammer for 30, 40 seconds, think of all the scoring passes that they could not collect, right? If we're looking at an average of 10 seconds to lap the track.
Now we're going to have Kami go back up against Forneskate here on that last one. Badbrand was able to pick up the 5-point grand slam there. So both these jammers kind of stuck at the back there, but Forneskate uses that outside line. She skips through there, takes lead jammer.
Now that is a tactic we haven't seen too much tonight, just the full-on sprint off the start. It is so exciting when jammers do that, especially a jammer like Forna. She knows how to work those toe stops.
A big pile up there as they're coming around that fourth corner.
And Kami's out on her initial pass, so Forna picked up her 5 points and called off the jam. No sense keeping that one going for too long. Coach Vinsanity having a few words with the referees. Not sure if a review is called. Nope, the jam timer says 5 seconds and we're ready to play.
Curve, Stompin' Coleshaw is going to go back up against MacDaddy. The Sugar Skulls have only been running a 3-jammer rotation, whereas the Mindfox have got 4 of them that are regularly jamming today. 3 of them regularly. QT Sly has come in there, I believe, once or twice.
That's one of the things too when you're a traveling team. I mean, yes, it's Regina, it's about 2.5 hours away, but it is a commitment to come out and spend the weekend here in Saskatoon, and that really is how roller derby is played though in Saskatchewan and Western Canada. It's a commitment to traveling, and so we always appreciate that teams come out here to play so that we can have these home games here in Saskatoon. And it looks like there will be an official review. Just checking in with the scorekeepers there. Fat Boy, what is one of the things that you love to see in a roller derby game?
You know, if you would have asked me when I first started watching and announcing, it was always the big hits. You wanted to see the big hits, that big action, that slide across the floor, the catch and release program. And you know, it's still something I really enjoy, but I think I prefer now to really see the finesse and then the hit more than anything, because you can watch it where, and this is the teamwork, this is where the skill comes in. Let's say, you know, Curb Stomp and Coleshaw can finesse her way around that line, and as she gets up there, Bella Von Bastard's up there or Abolisher's up there, and they'll make that big hit, that clean hit, and Curb's able to get through, you know, just easy peasy, and that is just fantastic.
I've got to say the same thing, of course, playing roller derby and seeing how much it's evolved. I started last March, so March 2016. The game has changed. Look at those tripod formations, the offense and defense back and forth. It's incredible how much the game has changed.
And here's a really good chance here where Makilia has broken off from the front of that pack to ensure that a no pack is called, and therefore to ensure that a no pack is not called, so that Stabitha doesn't get the free range through. She has to work through. If that no pack is called, they have to all put their hands up and release and let that jammer get through. They cannot impede her motion.
The difficulty too with a no pack situation is your chance of getting a penalty increases almost tenfold. There are 5 different types of penalties you can get off of a no pack, so you just want to avoid that situation as best you can.
Now Bad Brand at the end there took a bit of a spill. She went down kind of hard, a little slow getting up, but she's up and moving now. So both teams on that one were able to pick up a single point.
Mindfox at 99 points, Sugar Skulls at 65. We've still got 21 minutes left in this game, and that means it's still anybody's game. That's not a very big point differential, so.
No, when you only have a 34-point differential, and both teams are sitting so close. Sugar Skulls 44% of the leads with the Mindfoxes 35.
A forearm penalty is called to Chesty LaRue.
Now Kami's able to get out in front, so she's going to take that lead. Foreigner skates working there, trying to get past. But as per usual, you got Nuts up there along with Piper, not allowing her to get through without that trouble.
No way. I can tell you from personal experience, going up against the Gravediggers, of course, the Regina B team, they don't make it easy. They love to reform, that's what we call it. Getting up in front, recycling, making it so even though you've collected that player's points, you're not leaving the engagement zone, which means you can't start scoring again, which is what you want to do.
You betcha. So who do we got now? We're going to have Curb Stomping Colestraw is going to go back up against the Mac Daddy. It was such an awesome pair to watch. The skill, the speed. Oh!
And a knockout, drag back. She not going to play this game. Mac Daddy's not going to play this game with Curb.
So here we go, a little bit of skill, right? Now Curb has knocked her out and she's going to keep dragging her back. Now, here's another example of no points, no score, you're not going to get anywhere. So by her knocking her out, she's forced to come all the way back. That gives her a chance to try and speed up there. You can see her blockers right away going to offense as Curb goes in there like a bullet, and she just cleans up and passes Parks and Rec. She's able to take that lead jam.
So Mac Daddy holding back kind of makes sense, because if Curb was going to drag her all the way back, which basically would make her at a -1 lap, she would be starting at the same point anyway, so there's no point chasing Curb, right? That's why she paused there. But then Curb said, you know what, I'm just going to stop on corner 4 there.
You betcha. Now, Mac Daddy did have a bit of a run in there with one of the Mindfox. I believe it was Chesty LaRue in that third corner. They both went down pretty hard there. So Mac Daddy's now just getting out for her initial pass. Curb is working through. Now she calls the jam off there after picking up 4 points.
Misbehaving, did take a pretty big hit there, but she's all good. Seems like she's getting pumped up by her team. And I have to say kudos to the Sugar Skulls, because a lot of their players did the double play. They were on the Gravedigger team earlier, and they are coming out with the same just energy.
The same tenacity.
That's the word I was looking for.
So speaking of tenacity, trying to use every last drop she has, That's Bad Brown who's going to work through there. Now, a penalty was issued to Bella Von Bastard. I think it might have been a failure to reform.
Oh, and that penalty box is looking mighty crowded with Mindfox players, but Jackie O'Nasty is coming back on the track to block. Remember what I said earlier about the penalties. If the Mindfox keep this up, they could start seeing those points awarded to the Sugar Skulls.
Now, as the penalty box is clearing out, Tidbit Naughty's back on, McKillia is back on.
But Block Ness Monster now takes her seat. Didn't catch what that penalty was called for.
It might as well be a revolving door there today at the penalty box. It's been consistently full, which no team wants to see. We can't stress it enough. You're not going to make any points when you're putting all your players in the box.
Well, because here's the thing. You've got now three blockers out there. Three great blockers, mind you. Jackie O'Nasty, Tidbit Naughty, and Bella Von Bastard. But it makes it difficult. And the second Bad Brand passes like she just did Tidbit Naughty's hips, she collects 2 points. She collects the one for the player in the box and the one for the player she just passed.
Now we do have a helmet cover change. Block Ness Monster comes onto the track and she goes in hard fighting up against number 72 there. That is Beat a Bitch Down. So she's now got that helmet cover. So what's going to happen here if she can get through is she'll place the helmet cover on her head. That will now make her the jammer. She will be the one to score the points. If it is not on her head, she is unable to score any points.
Exactly.
She does have to complete an initial pass as well. That's something important to mention. So picking up another 4 points on that one. 2 points picked up by
the Mindfox. So we did see something as well that was really great happening in the pack there, and that was when that opposing player wants to drag your jammer back, you can stop them from doing that, which is a huge advantage to your team because you don't want your jammer to have to start, 30, 40 feet back. Looks like we're having a bit of an official review. A little chat in the middle, if you will.
Officials doing official things, making sure official business is official. It's an official's job, I tell you.
As I mentioned earlier, we can't have Derby without our non-skating officials and our skating officials, and so many of our skating officials, some of them have played, some of them have simply joined for the express purpose of wanting to be more involved with this league and making a difference. I think of Hang 11, the tall guy with the big gray beard. Well, he got involved because he just loved the sport so much, and he is a tremendous ambassador for this sport and one of the most knowledgeable people you'll ever meet about all the different rule changes. You love him, you hate him a little bit. It's all good.
I'm not sure what's going on there, but Mad Eye Millie, along with Coach McQuack there on the sidelines, are having a little bit of a maniacal laugh. There might be some trickery going on in this one. We'll have to keep our eyes open.
Maybe just some mental help a little bit, because now we're getting into that second half. And for an escape, with a little bit of help from Bali, gets through with her little quick step, I like to call it, her little fox jump, if you will.
Now, Teja Vu went down about 3 times in about 3 seconds. She couldn't get up. Every time she did, somebody else ran into her. And going down 27 there, Kami got beat to the inside as well.
Yeah, and that's going to cost Bali a trip to the penalty box for an elbow.
Now, something to keep in mind, Bali's gone to the penalty box a few times. You're only allowed so many penalties. I believe the number is 7. Nella 7. After that 7th one, you're going to have to get removed from the game. Ooh.
Or rather, on your 7th one, you're removed from the game.
Correction. Now, Unicorn Thunder had a big hit. That looks like it might have went a little high.
A forearm penalty assessed to, I'm not sure, because I see Teja Vu and Tidbit Naughty skating. Oh, Teja Vu's actually skating off to her bench.
Teja Vu got a hit to the head there on this first corner. She went down very hard.
Now, the reason why she probably didn't want to stop the jam, because you can, if you have an injury caused and gameplay is stopped because of an injury, what happens is, though, the player has to sit out for the next 3 jams. They have to. So perhaps Teja Vu was, and here we go with the big hit.
Well, that was
Bali on Kami, and she was assessed that penalty, it's all in the flick of the arm there. If she had just let Kami impact her, there wouldn't have been an issue because Kami would have initiated that hit.
It's all about that direction of
Play.
Thank you.
There you go. It's all right. It's been a long day, a great day of Derby, I must say.
Been a fantastic day of Derby. That's when you know it's getting good, when you start drawing for words like that.
Yep, there you go. And I can also tell you as a player, the whole standing around thing doesn't help because you kind of want to just keep going. Actually, let's have an update on the score here. Saskatoon Mindfox are at 123 and the Sugar Skulls are at 82 points. Yes, we see a very engaged looking Block Nest monster there.
Now, while we have our official review, did you see, Deathnella, was it an official's official review, or did one of the coaches call this one?
I believe it's the officials.
And remember, the coaches can call them as well if they're looking to have a penalty added or something overturned, or if they've noticed something that they believe needs to be addressed. It's their opportunity to do that. Now, if they, I'm not sure the number they have per half, but if they lose them, they do not get any more. If they win them, they can continue to use them as long as they win them. But as soon as they lose them, that's it. They're out. They get no more.
Exactly. And it looks like the coaches are hearing from Kurt's So Good. The Sugar Skulls bench. I mean, it's kind of nice because these are built-in timeouts, right? You're able to catch your breath a little bit. This is where that mental game is so important. There's Coach Vinsanity and Coach McQuack.
It's on that jam, not 2. It should be 5, 5, and 4. There should be 14 points, not 9. We're using a timeout for it, but we should get our points. Pardon?
How are they only?
They only gave us 9.
Oh.
I don't know.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to use a timeout to get the points checked. No.
So what happened there, as you just heard Coach McQuack say, he is keeping track of the points his Jammer's scoring. That is good coaching. And so in this case, they used a timeout. It wasn't an official review. It was a timeout from the Mindfox, who then also approached the officials with the fact that there should be more points on the board. Not sure what's happening here. I'm pretty sure the skaters just want to skate, though.
Well, you can see Coach McQuack there. They're getting riled up. They're getting excited. You know, every point matters, and in a game this close, that can make or break it. So when you're convinced that there was something else there, or you're missing a point, or that happens, you're gonna be wired. You're gonna want something done about it.
And I'd rather see the coach passionate than players, because of course the coach can do something about it. Although it looks like the score is going to remain the same. Saskatoon Mindfox at 123, Sugar Skulls at 82. Hopefully those players are well rested and ready, because it's curb stomping. Oh no, it is Stabatha on the line against Mac Daddy. Haven't seen this pairing too often, but Mac Daddy is drawing that. And we have a penalty assessed to Rocket. This is not the time to have those penalties. A multiplayer block penalty, rather, assessed to Beta with the Sugar Skulls.
Stabatha is able to take the outside line, completes her initial pass. Mac Daddy knocked to the inside. She's going to be dragged back.
She's asking for 1 point from her jammer ref, but never mind, she picked up 4. As a jammer, you really have a lot of strength in knowing how many players you've passed as well. So actually being able to count what you've done as well. And that way, if you do need to call it, you can at least feel good about yourself if you didn't collect some points.
And again, that goes into that awareness. You have to know everything that is happening on that track, regardless of whether it's the players, the scores.
Look at that. Curb just guns it out for that outside lane, holding up Bad Brand. maybe using a little bit of Bad Brand style on her too.
You know, I see that and I want to say something so quickly and I run out of words. It's so fantastic to watch that happen. It's just takes your breath away.
And perhaps that's why they did that switch up. So normally Curb was being paired with Mac Daddy. Well, maybe it's time to switch it up a little bit, and it definitely worked out for the Mindfox.
So here we go, Block Nest Monster, Rocket, Bellevon Bastard, and is that Chesty LaRue lined up there? Gonna go up against Beta, Bitch Down.
Piper's on that line.
Nuts is on that line.
That's a good one.
Now that's Mac Daddy then, who's gonna be jamming this one, and that's Forniscate. So Mac Daddy's gonna work that inside-outside line correction, but Forniscate's able to come all the way across the track, gets through, takes that lead jam. Bellevon Bastards there with Block Nest Monster not letting Mac Daddy get through. Now Chesty's gonna put her back into it. Forniscate caught there with Scarlet Nuts and beat a bitch down, but she's able to slide through, gets 5 points.
And that Mindfox line just does not want to let Mac Daddy get through, so that's why they keep skating, moving up ahead. So even though she's collected the points on them, they're going to stop her.
So Forniscate hits the back of that line and kind of bounces outside, and on that bounce, she takes her hands, puts them on her hips. That calls the jam off. Trying to see the fingers. I think that's 4 points she was able to pick up on that pass when she called it.
And we are now going to have another break in play. Because that's just the way this game is going.
"12 minutes, 16 seconds left in the second half of this game. Score currently Mindfox 135, Sugar Skulls 86.
And they're huddled up now, figuring out their next play. They know who they're up against. One thing I don't think I touched on is that so many, especially when you're talking about Saskatchewan roller derby, there's a lot of times that you've played with those other players, because that's how this works. There's pickup games, there's invitationals. So when you come up and you join roller derby in any capacity here in Saskatchewan, you get to know the players really well, and oftentimes you might even end up on a team with them.
You're not always going to be beating up on the same people. Some days they're going to be on the team next to you.
Exactly, and that's why there is still such a great spirit of sportsmanship. You're not seeing really, well, anything egregious, because that will get you tossed out the game, but you're just not seeing that. You're seeing players out there who just want to get their jammer through, play a nice, clean, strategic game.
And you know something you asked earlier about what's my favorite part? Something else I really enjoy too is at the end of the game, after all the blood, sweat, tears, the big hits, the strategics, the skills, there's always a picture. And everybody's got a big smile on their face. They're excited, they're happy. It doesn't look like they just beat the crap out of each other for an hour. It looks like they just, you know, they just had a ball. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, and Curb Stomping Coleshaw grabs lead jammer status on that one. Bad Brand not far behind, but getting caught up on misbehaving.
Mish got her, she bounced off a Abolisher after that. Titbit Naughty knocked her out, so Titbit, of course, gonna drag her all the way back.
Oh, it looks like both of the jammers are getting dragged back.
Curb Stomping Coleshaw, and a really fun player to watch too, because she wears her heart on her sleeve. If she's unhappy when she comes around a corner, you'll see it on her face. If she's happy, she'll have a smile from ear to ear.
And it seems like it's the latter on that last one, so it is fun. It is just so fun being out there, I gotta say.
So Bad Brand was able to get through there and complete an initial pass, but Curb Stomping Coleshaw calls that one off after picking up 4 points. You can hear the teams, they're trying to communicate with each other, making sure everybody's getting the right play set up here. Now Stabitha And Mac Daddy starting right on that line, right up against that blockers.
And Mac Daddy gets knocked out and dragged back by Bella Von Bastard. Meanwhile, Stabby making quick work on the corner there. As I mentioned earlier, those corners are a jammer's best friend. A lovely apex jump by Mac Daddy to scooch by for that initial pass.
Stabatha there was a little tied up with Scarlett when she come around. And again, Scarlett there puts her butt out, tries to keep her. She knocks her close to the outside, but Stabatha again uses them toe stops. She doesn't leave. Able to get past, picks up 4 points, calls the jam.
And one thing about toe stops, so the thing about roller derby is obviously safety is paramount. So we have all the gear, the elbow pads, wrist pads, helmets, all the works. But those toe stops are technically not safety equipment. So if they happen to fall off during a game, you can still play. That's the way that works. Nobody has to be taken off the track. There's no stop and play. But that also means that you need to know how to work your skates without toe stops. What were you're laughing. What did you just see on the screen there? Just
Mad
some
Eye
dancing.
Millie
Oh yeah,
was,
Mad Eye Millie's having a blast
Having
out
a little
there.
dance party there for her team.
She was refereeing earlier. She's also one of our great skaters. She skates on the Saskatoon Mindfox. She has been having a couple injuries. There's some injuries this season, so we're just so happy that she's there on the bench helping. And that's what our league is run on, is volunteering and people stepping up and being there, because we don't necessarily have only coaches. Coach McQuack is one of those players who is really fulfilling that coach duty now. But all right, and now we are about to get started for some Forna Skate versus Bad Brand action.
Waiting for that whistle to go. There it is. So now Forna Skate not getting anywhere. She's stuck right at the back there up against, I believe that was the jammer there, Kami.
Jackie O'Nasty working with misbehaving and Bali to keep Bad Brand all tied up.
And I have to correct myself. Kami's not jamming. She's blocking on this one.
She's
and
pivot,
that's,
yeah.
Pivot. You know, there's a strategic maneuver there.
We're not seeing any star passes this game. It seems like every jammer is in it to win it, in it to fight it. Kami is a good pivot because she jams too, so she knows how to block.
And you could see that there, because off the line, and that's why I got confused so quickly, was she was right there on the line up against Forna Skate, and she wasn't allowing her to go anywhere. And to me, right away, it looked like jammer on jammer action. I wasn't, I didn't catch it. And that goes to show how the skill set evolves from one position to another to ensure that you've got the right positions.
Exactly, and you do have to be if you are going to initiate that star pass, you have to do it at the right moment, because you want to make sure your pivot is ahead of the other blockers so that they don't also have to fight through, and then you can get going on an initial pass and force the other team to call it off. You don't want to use that star pass if you have lead, because then you lose lead.
And we have QT Sly going up against Mac Daddy here. This is only QT Sly's third jam, I believe, of the game.
She's being used more as a relief jammer. She has jammed in the past. I think I mentioned it earlier. She took off last season. She had a baby. She's back at it, fighting hard.
So Mac Daddy coming back to the back of the pack. She's got that lead status.
Loch Ness Monster trying to open up a hole for her jammer. Cutie still fighting, and she gets through.
Now we have a cut track penalty issued to one of the blockers for the Sugar Skulls. They're going to lose one. So Mac Daddy gets into the thick of it. She's able to pass 2 sets of hips there. Takes a couple points, calls it off. That's going to keep the Mindfox from grabbing any on that one.
There's still 8 minutes left in the game. Saskatoon Mindfox at 144 points. The Sugar Skulls at 88.
And just to make mention too, Deathnella was saying we have all these volunteers and everything. And if you want to come out and check out roller derby, maybe you think you might want to be interested in it and play, help with the NSOing. We've got another game. The 10th anniversary season finale this year is going to be on November 4th here at Prairieland Park again. So make sure you come check it out. Enjoy it. It'll be another fantastic day of roller derby.
It's phenomenal to see it on Shaw TV, broadcast like this, but it's even better when it's live and you're seeing how fast everyone's moving on that concrete floor, those big hits. happening right at your feet, really.
You betcha. So we got Stabitha jamming for the Mindfox. She was able to get through, picked up lead, made a second pass, picked up her 4 points, while Kami was trying to catch up.
I gotta dance a little bit here, fat boy. I gotta get the energy going.
We
This
got
is exciting.
dancing, we got
This
singing.
is the last 7 minutes of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing, even some more breaks in play, just because this is usually that moment when every point counts and the coaches really want to get down to the nitty-gritty.
You betcha. So we got Forna skate now.
That pack is staying so tight. But Bad Brand's able to bust through, gets past Mel Razor, and grabs the lead. She hasn't been so lucky, or not lucky, but she hasn't been so fortunate in her last few jams to get that lead status, so now she's hoping to actually make her efforts worthwhile here.
Now Bad Brand, out of her 17 jams tonight, she's been able to take that lead jammer designation 9 times. That's a 56%. While Forna Skate's had 15 jams tonight, she's had 5 leads, so that's a 36% lead for her.
And it looks like Bad Brand did pick up 1 point. And look at that, a timeout called by Coach Vinsanity for the Regina Sugar Skulls. Told you, you're gonna start seeing this because they want to rest their players, they want to regroup. There's still time to make a difference.
And you know, this is a really, really interesting stat too, right? You've only got 3 jammers for Regina, so that 89 points, that's been racked up by 3 people. Bad Brand's managed to pick up 53 points tonight. Kami's picked up 20. Mac Daddy's picked up 16 of those points. 3 players, that's it. That's all they've got tonight going in that rotation. That is not an easy thing to do for 30 minutes.
No, exactly. And so that's where you're really relying on your defense, on your blockers to shut out that other jammer.
Now we have a new jammer on the line for the Mindfox. That's Tidbit Naughty. She's going to take this one.
She is a fun jammer because she's a little powerhouse, and she usually plays pivot for that reason, because she knows how to block and she knows how to get moving.
She'll be an interesting one to watch on this one because she does play with such a physical game with hers.
See, look how she's just pushing against that line. She's using her strength. Mac Daddy, though, trying to get by, and look at that wow.
And what was really cool about that was the fact that Mac Daddy, trying to get through, kind of got caught up there on some of her own blockers, and Tidbit Naughty was able to see it, find it, and get through it before anybody could correct the action.
Yeah, you're not, big hit from Unicorn Thunder on Mac Daddy. And Tidbit calls it, she gets her points, calls it. That is a successful jam, especially for someone who is just known to be a blocker.
You betcha, that was awesome to see.
And here we go. This is the big hit by Unicorn Thunder. They both went down, but wow, that'll definitely slow down the other jammer.
You're gonna feel that one in the morning, I'll tell you that much. So Bad Brand gonna go back up against, I think it's Stabitha. Yeah, that's Stabitha out there for the Mindfox.
Stabitha is really good at the scooching back, letting that blocker sweep by her, but then, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go right past you, no problem.
Loch Ness Monster, Bellevon Bastard, they're both teaming up on Bad Brand as she's going out of bounds to call that one off. She's able to pick up 4 points.
One thing I have to say about the Sugar Skulls, they have been effective in, as blockers, just trying to bust up that Mindfox line. So when you start seeing their successes, it's when they're able to break that wall.
You betcha, yeah, that is very true. Something else I've been very impressed with the Sugar Skulls today is how their blockers are able to form up so quickly and really circle in that jammer. When they get them stuck in there, they're stuck in there. They're not getting out easily. It takes another blocker to usually come in and disrupt that before they're able to make that easy movement.
And a cut track penalty is assessed to Mac Daddy. So this is a power jam situation for Forna Skate. She still needs to get through on her initial pass. Oh, Tidbit Naughty goes down. couple players tripping on one another there.
Abolisher and Kami, a little bit of a pile up there between the first and second corner. As Forneskate's now on corner 3, working around. She was going one-on-one there, able to get past that Sugar Skulls blocker and gets her lead jammer.
Now, she did get held up for quite a while, so she doesn't have quite as much time on this power jam. So it needs to be an effective use of her blockers to get through. Yep, she skirts by on the outside line. Gets knocked out, though.
And you could see it there, how they went into offense. She slowed down when she hit the back of the pack. And Tidbit Naughty, Jackie O'Nasty, Abolisher, Unicorn Thunder, they all moved in there, found a target just like Abolisher did there, and knocked him out. Clean that path. Give her a slate that she can move through without any hesitation.
Kami proving why she's on Team Russia for the World Cup. Just see her reforming, getting in front of Forna every time.
Back on the track, Mac Daddy now. She's going to try and get past Jackie O'Nasty. Tidbit Naughty making a little bit of a team effort there. Now, Fortescue was knocked out by McKillia, so she's going to get dragged back here.
That was some great two-person blocking by Jackie O'Nasty and Tidbit Naughty. And Jackie's big smiles. It's great to see. This is her final game with the Saskatoon Roller Derby League. Final for now. That's what I'm going to keep saying. I want her to stay.
Well, but you get a good person, somebody that's not only an excellent player, but an excellent ambassador. I like that word you used earlier, an excellent ambassador. It's hard to let them go, even if it is for the better. If it's something that they want to do, that they're moving on for, you never want to see a good person leave.
And I didn't get a chance to mention it earlier, and she's not on the track right now, but Unicorn Thunder, this is actually her last home game. It's not her last game with the Saskatoon Roller Derby League, but her last home game, because she's going to be moving to Hawaii and playing with the Kona team, which is amazing, by the way. They are coached actually by someone we know very well, Coach Lime. He goes out there, yep, Coach Lime. He's come out to help our league too. So, told you, the Derby world is small, but big at the same time. You can go to Hawaii and play with people. And
I was just going to say that's good for me, because now I've got hopefully a chance to slide into Hawaii to do some announcing at some point in time.
Exactly. Okay, bring me with you though, please.
I think we might be able to work that in.
I'm small enough, I can fit in your suitcase. It'll be fine.
So now while we've been sitting here yabbering away, we did have an official review charge to the Sugar Skulls, as Scarlett O'Fira in the center there giving a little bit of a dance as well. See, it's all about the fun here. The announcers, the NSOs, the players, the coaches, everybody's having a good time.
Fat Boy, you and I, we get to sit. A lot of other people don't. They have to stand.
You betcha.
There was one time I jam timed in heels, so.
That line was worth it.
Yeah.
Bella Von Bastard, Curb, Stompin' Coleshaw, Chesty LaRue, Stabitha all standing around there. You can see they're rip, snorting, roaring, ready to get moving.
And if you're wondering what's up with Chesty's eye, she puts one contact in just to mess with you. Like, trust me, if you are playing against someone and they only have one colored contact in, you're like, what is going on? You're so mentally distracted. It's part of her persona.
I should say, as a funny little story, as we're coming in here for this second game and Chesty's coming dressed up, she passed a child that kind of got a little spooked at her for a second, and she had to make mention, no, it's okay, it's just a contact. It was very cute to see as she's big, mean, ready to rumble, and all of a sudden it's, no, don't worry, it's a contact.
That's what I love about
awesome.
roller derby is you might think someone on the track is mean and like, and fierce. That is what it takes on the track, but outside everybody, really, I mean this, it's a family.
You betcha.
And that includes some soft moments, some cuddly moments, happy, warm, fuzzy moments.
So here we go. We haven't had any points changed, and we have not had any penalties issued. So not sure what the challenge was about. But here we go. For this one, we're going to have Stabitha.
So
Now she's...
And she gets by while Bad Brown was trying to work the seams there. Big hit against Bella Von Bastard. But
Blockness Monster kind of knocked her over. Bad Brown leapfrogged over Bella there as she was down. Stabitha goes in there kind of jumping and flying, trying to get past that line.
And no pack situations called. Bad Brand still pushing on that tripod.
Remember, when they do call the no pack and they have to give up, that means unobstructed. They have to put their hands up, release, let her go through.
Well, they don't technically have to let her go through. What they have to do is they have to release enough, but they can actually still keep blocking once they've released, once they've let up. So it's not quite a you get a free pass, but that's usually what happens because the jammer is so effective in taking that moment.
There we go. See, you learned something new.
Yes.
So Stabitha was knocked to the outside there. She was coming and dragged back a little bit.
So now look at this tripod formation. What makes it effective is actually when Bad Brand is leaning and pushing in. That reinforces the tripod. That makes you even stronger.
You just have to be careful though, because Chesty was issued, I think, a multiplayer block, and that comes in when that tripod, they're linked together and they're not releasing with the pressure. They're allowed to be together, but they're not allowed to hold tight to each other.
Exactly. So when you're jamming, you're told to go for the arms, because what that means is if I cross diagonally and your arms are linked and I challenge your arms and you don't let go, then you get a multiplayer, because you're essentially making a clothesline link and you can really hurt and injure somebody.
Not the kind of thing you want to see.
Yeah, timeout called there for the Saskatoon Mindfox. No, so what will happen now, the reason why that was called is because that could have or would have been our last jam of the game. But if you call a timeout right after, you now get an extra jam.
So with that said, 7 seconds left on the clock. 166 for Saskatoon Roller Derby League's Mindfox, 93 for the Pile of Bone Derby Club's Sugar Skulls.
And we see the bench all lined up because this will be the last jam. This is a Mindfox tradition on that last jam. Get the team together. Those are not on the track. Oh, and it looks like Cutie Sly will be donning the Jammer Star, and Mac Daddy will finish it off for the Regina Sugar Skulls.
Now, something really interesting too is the game does not end when the game clock goes to 0. The game does not end until the final jam is whistled dead. Now, whether that's from 2 minutes or whether that's from a jammer calling it off, until that jam clock is expired, the game continues.
Oh, so much energy. I can feel it. Oh, and Kami with a hit on Cutie Sly right off the top. Mac Daddy gets bumped out, but she's still fighting. She's still ahead right now. Scooches by Mel Razor and Tidbit Naughty for lead jammer. So Regina will have the final say on this last jam.
Cutie Sly using Tidbit Naughty for a nice little swing there,
nice
but she did get kind of swung right into 27. Kami there knocked her to the outside.
But she gets through. She's now fighting. Her team is cheering really loudly for her. And that is the game. The Mindfox bench so happy to end that one with a win.
So with that, we just need to wait for the official review. As it stands right now, unofficial, 166 to 93. As soon as we get our official, we will be sure to inform you.
And this is one of my favorite parts, is when all the fans, all the players, everyone who's been involved in this great day of roller derby gets around the track there, extends their hands, gives those congratulations to all the players.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have our official score coming up here right now. Saskatoon Mindfox takes the win for the last game of the day here, 166 to the Regina Pile of Bone Derby Club's Sugar Skulls, 95. That was an absolutely fantastic, absolutely amazing roller derby game. It does not get better than that. Big hits, good skills, toe stepping, line hopping, apex jumping. What else can you ask for?
Nobody getting tired, everyone having such a great time, including myself. I'm Deathnella. Thank you so much for joining me, Fat Boy Shorts. It's always a pleasure to have you here. That is the Saskatoon Roller Derby League's Back to School. Best roller derby action ever. Have a good night.